Hello and welcome to Ecoholics. In this video, we'll continue our discussion of economics optional mains examination paper of January 2022. So this is the sixth video in the series. I hope you have seen all the fifth. If not, go watch then come to this. So we are discussing paper 2 of economics optional. This is section B, sixth question. Okay. So as usual, what we do is we first read the question carefully. So we'll read that. This is the first directive. So what are the major components? So what they are asking, major components of public expenditure on agriculture in India. So this is a direct thing. You just have to mention what are the major components. Okay. Would you recommend any changes in pattern of the public expenditure on agriculture to stimulate agricultural growth? Now, in the first part, you just have to mention what are those. And the second part of the question, you have to mention what changes in the pattern that you can suggest. Why it is important? Because you will become an IAS officer who can give solutions, who can give suggestions. So if you are not able to do that, you will not able to fetch marks in the examination. It's very simple. They are not asking you to mention the problems. What they are expecting you is that you will become a future bureaucrat, and future bureaucrat should be able to solve problems or provide solutions that are realistic and implementable. So here the word is content and the context, both are important. You remember, content means the things that you will write. Context, you will write in perspective of that particular thing. For example, if I ask you about the solution of 1947 problem, the economic problem in 1947, you cannot implement the same solution in 2022. So that's why I'm saying content is important, but the context is also. So here we will see that what are the major components of the public expenditure on agriculture in India. Major components, when government spends on irrigation. Okay. Government invests on subsidy. Government invests on capital expenditure. Capex, what we call. Government is spent on farmers' welfare, like for example seeds, and providing other inputs. Then government also spent on providing credit, like we can say subvention scheme, interest subvention, where reduced interest rate you will get the loan. So these are the major components of expenditure. Now, would you recommend? So obviously you have to recommend because they're asking the question, and this is the second part of the question, which is more important than the first part. Any changes in the pattern? Changes in the pattern, you can say in the recent budget, government reduced the subsidy. If you see, the 8% of total budget expenditure of 39 lakh crore goes to subsidy, and it has come down. So that's a very good sign that instead of giving subsidies, government is trying to increase the capital expenditure, and capital expenditure increased by 35%. So in total, I'm saying not just because of agriculture, these data is overall subsidy in the budget, but the question is asking, would you recommend any changes? So I would say yes, the changes should be less subsidy, more capital expenditure. So these kind of suggestions you have to give, which is not mentioned in the newspaper, not mentioned in the books, but with your correlation of your knowledge, current plus static, plus at that particular time, you can write these kind of answers. Okay, any doubt you can ask in the comment section. Next question. Analyze the significance of planning in the context of market-based development in India. Now what you have to write is significance, how important it is. So analyze the significance of planning. Now you remember that in 2014, at the speech of Prime Minister at the, we can say, Independence Day of 2014, they have announced abolition of Planning Commission. And all this are very old news, but abolition of Planning Commission, and instead of it, they have announced Niti Aayog. So now you are into almost 30 years of economic reforms that you have started. So we can say from 1991 to 2021, because we are in 2022. So these 30 years, that is of market-based development, because since 1991 government is liberalizing, government is inviting private sector. The recent example, Air India. Then you can say that these market-based development, what is the role of planning? Significance. How important? Is it important? So the answer is yes, obviously you have to analyze, and if government is setting up these institute for plannings, although the name is Niti Aayog now, but their work is more or less related to same. The things are changing, like planning commission was taking action from top to bottom, what we call trickle down. But Niti Aayog is taking actions from bottom up, aspirational district scheme, etc., etc. So here, in the market-based development, what's the significance? Now, without planning, you can't do anything. If you are preparing for any small examination, even semester examination, you have to do planning. Planning for a syllabus, timetable, then time in the examination, then how will you approach? So these are the things. So obviously the significance is there, but what's the significance? The answer is that now the government is facilitator. Government is no longer regulator. Government is like a sun, where they have to keep an eye on earth. So earth is a market, government is a sun. Now this sun, imagine that if it will come into or come at the earth, what will happen? Demolish. So government's role is to look the market, to look the activity, oversee, control, regulate. But now the answer is that government is now becoming a facilitator. Government will show you the path and the private sector will go there. So this is the crux what you have to write. Any doubt? You can write in the comment section. Next question, last question for this video. Examine the procurement policy. Procurement policy of Government of India in the post-liberalization period and its impact on agricultural prices. So very straightforward question. Again, examine, you have to understand both sides and then you have to provide a judgment on that. So procurement policy, how do we procure? With the help of Food Corporation of India, FCI. FCI procures food grains on behalf of Government of India. Now procurement policy means MSP. So at MSP, government announces minimum support price and they buy food grains from farmers. Okay. So what is the procurement policy of the Government of India, especially in the post-liberalization? I can say 1991. So if suppose, for example, if you raise the MSP for a certain crop, farmers will think about that more farmers will go towards that particular crop. So if you raise the MSP of wheat, farmers will produce more wheat. So post-liberalization, as I was discussing about the government is a facilitator in the last question, on the same lines, if you try to regulate the cropping pattern, MSP is a very important tool to regulate it. Although CACP recommends and they calculate on the basis of certain factors, but still MSP is one of the important factor in regulating the cropping pattern since post-liberalization. And what's the impact on its prices? So impact is always there. If you suppose, for example, announce higher MSP, it will create a lot of things. Farmers will try to sell to FCI if you have higher MSP. Then there's a problem of inflation. Why? Because if market rates are below MSP, then obviously farmers will prefer to sell to the government, not in the market. So when shortage is there, prices will go up and inflation. The next is what the impact on the agriculture prices. Another impact is subsidy cost. Because if you announce higher and higher MSP, government's subsidy cost will go up. So these are the things that you have to write in this answer and try to structure it with a proper introduction and the conclusion. I hope you like this video. If you like it, give a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe Ecoholics, because we are coming with the series of these videos where we'll discuss the question papers. Apart from that, if you are interested in understanding the lectures, there are 100+ lectures of economics option freely available on an Ecoholics mobile app. So you can just download that app from the description of this video. If you still have any doubt in the video series of this, you can connect with me directly on my WhatsApp number given in the description. Thank you so much and have a nice day.